Good evening. Welcome to the QCIS channel. On this channel, you get a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. My name is Leon Jones, and this evening I'm going to do the last video here on the QCIS channel for the year of 2023. Now, tonight I'm going to talk about a decent subject in construction. It's called quality survey. And the question is also the title of tonight's subject matter. What is a quality surveyor? Now, it depends on where you go, but here in the US, we don't call them quality surveyors. We call them cost engineers. And to make things even plain and simple, cost estimators. So I'm going to interchange the names. Now, in England and Australia, they utilize the term quality surveyor. One thing you need to understand is when you deal with construction, before any contract is bid, the estimator or the quality surveyor is going to take some plans and estimate the quantities. Now, you have to understand when it comes to contracts, is the contract going to be unit costs, which unit cost contracts involve quantities, feet, meters. Then we have the area, which is in square yards, square meters, cubic yards, cubic meters. What I'm doing, I'm giving you units in what we use in the United States and what the Europeans and the other countries use around the world. But regardless, when we deal with surveying, because quality surveying is still part of construction, which is part of civil engineering. Now, I'm go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to get more into what a quality surveyor is. Call it quality, quantity. Let's call it a quantity surveyor. So the topic is, what is a quantity? I called it quality, but you want to have quality too, because I'm just going to say this: the better your bid is, your chances are high. Your chances are very high at getting the job. Now, what is a quantity surveyor? Also known as a construction cost consultant. A quantity surveyor is an accountant in charge of the building of large construction projects and is responsible for managing the financial and contractual aspects of such projects. Now, to understand what a quantity surveyor really is, you can view it as part of engineering, cost engineering, or part general contractor, part architect, part lawyer, in short. Again, to understand what a quantity surveyor really is, just view it as you're going to wear a few hats. You wear the engineering hat, general contractor hat, architect hat, and lawyer hat in a project. In short, quantity surveyors are adept and knowledgeable of various disciplines and trades. Now, what quantity surveyors basically do, they oversee the expenses and budget of a construction project from start to finish. So as a quantity surveyor, you can work to ensure that the project's costs don't exceed the planned budget. So it is essential that you possess a solid understanding of the construction sector, as well as outstanding numeracy abilities. Now, contractors may hire you to assist in the valuation of construction work, and aid in the bidding and project budgeting process. Now, with all that being said, what does a quantity surveyor really do? Well, regardless of whether you work for an industrial, commercial, or residential project, there are usually overarching duties of a quantity surveyor. And I'm going to give them to you right now. Number one, working closely with clients to determine their requirements and needs. Number two, planning, estimating, and managing costs. Number three, helping clients in sourcing alternative or additional sources of funding. Number four, assessing and evaluating terms and conditions outlined in the contract. Number five, projecting and weighing probable risk associated with the project and taking proactive measures to mitigate such costs. Number seven, estimating the cost of materials and labor that are going to be required for the project. Also have to, as number eight states, prepare tender documents, paperwork, and contracts. Number nine, submit budget reports. Number 10, managing contract provision and providing advice. Number 11, must ensure that projects fulfill legal and quality standards. That's where the word quality comes in. So I would call a quantity surveyor a quality surveyor as well. And based on what I'm giving here, and I've got this information, I'll put the link at the bottom of this video. You have a lot of hats, but you're going to be involved in a lot of construction management duties as well. And number 10, you have to note down the changes made and update the project appropriately. 11, provide advice on the maintenance of certain buildings. Number 12, you have to adhere to building regulations as well as occupational health and safety framework. Number 12, have knowledge and consequences of the health and safety regulations. Number 13, assist in the claims and dispute management. This is where the law comes in. Also, the next one, aiding in the land procurement process. Then offering contractual, financial, and taxation advice. And last but not least, you must be able to provide advice relating to facilities management. Now, those are the duties and tasks of a quantity surveyor. Now, for a quantity surveyor, it's not the same as land surveying, although it is surveying. With quantity surveying and construction surveying, you don't need to be licensed to do this type of work. Now, when it comes to a quantity surveyor, the skills that you need, you must understand the mastery of essential abilities. They're going to be required for success in the supply chain management. So as a prerequisite, a quantity surveyor has to possess robust mathematical knowledge, comprehension of engineering, science, and technology, and comprehensive technical knowledge relating to building and construction. So here are some additional skills you may consider cultivating in order to become an effective quantity surveyor. Project management. So as a quantity surveyor, you're often required to handle several projects with strict deadlines. So to effectively execute those projects, it's important that you grasp the foundations of good project management. So basically, must have the capacity to analyze and manage risk, negotiate contracts, and organize. That's all part of project management. So because quantity surveying is heavily reliant on project management as a project manager, that's an important skill to have. Now, as with every job, you must deal with people. So what about customer service? Customer service entails the capacity to assist a company's customers. It involves responding to queries, addressing problems, and delivering high quality service. Customer service is critical for developing customer relationships and sustaining loyalty. So, as a quantity surveyor, you can develop the skill to communicate with clients during the planning and implementation process. Again, as a quantity surveyor, you can develop the communication, or communication goes under customer service with the clients during the planning and implementation process. Now, when you're out in the real world, let's say you're going to buy a car and it comes to price. And in construction, you have to do this as well, negotiation. Now, why is that important? Because on a daily basis, quantity surveyors deal with many stakeholders, vendors, purchasers, manufacturers, and clients are among those on the list. So, to obtain the greatest deal out of these discussions, it's vital that you're skilled at negotiating. So, this can improve your efficacy and make it simpler for you to broker advantageous arrangements for businesses. And when it comes to surveying today, geomatics, well, guess what? Statistics is involved. So when we have statistics, we deal with data analysis. And basically, the quantity surveyor oversees the financial and contractual aspects of construction projects and gathers performance statistics. So, as part of your job, you can expect to analyze data and then use these findings to enhance the construction process. So, basically, the ability to gather data and understand financial and contractual and construction data may put you ahead of the competition. And you can remain ahead in the market by using data backed predictions and projections. And with construction projects, there are always going to be problems. Back in engineering, architecture, there are always going to be problems. So you must have good problem solving skills. And that's going to entail evaluating a situation, identifying problems and areas for improvement, and eventually you have to come up with some innovative solutions, which are going to be an important aspect of your job as a quantity surveyor. So, one of the most essential skills you may have as a quantity surveyor is an excellent problem solving and analytical ability task. Why? Because it's critical that you are quick to recognize problems and you're capable of dealing with roadblocks in your daily job. Information technology skills. Now we're getting into some operations management now because we use the ERP, and I'll get that to you in a moment. And this is under information technology because it's nearly hard to perform as a quantity surveyor if you lack information technology and computer abilities. Nowadays, quantity surveyors employ technology to coordinate and track many operations and expenses in project management. So it's essential that aspiring quantity surveyors are familiar with the fundamentals of ERP, which is the enterprise resource planning. Now, you're going to find that in operations management as well. And of course, there's other project management software. So basically, you can also cultivate your proficiency in the use of analytics software to assess and identify any possible room for enhancement in cost minimization. And also, you must have flexibility. And flexibility enables quantity surveyors to deal better with unforeseen events. It also aids in the protection of the construction process from interruptions. So, a flexible quantity surveyor recognizes the unpredictability of business and is willing to change order to enhance outcomes and minimize expenses. Now, with every contract, too, say change order, you're going to have change orders. And change orders come from, you could have underestimated quantity, so you need more quantity. You could have overestimated quantity, so you may have to take a quantity that you didn't use, depending on the contract, and move it to the quantity that you've you've also underestimated quantity. Now, if you overestimate quantity, you're going to need more quantity. But there are different ways you can do that, and that's for change orders. But nevertheless, when it comes to change orders, you want to be able to look at the information in the contract. And the information I'm talking about are the quantities. What quantities have you used and what quantities did you not use? Because either way, you're going to have to create a change order. But when it comes to minimizing expenses, I'm just going to say this. You want to use everything in your original contract, because a change order, what that does, it actually inflates the original contract. Now you have a new contract amount. So, but you have to be flexible. You have to use good judgment. And also, teamwork. You hear that word going around. And as you possess interdisciplinary knowledge and experience, the majority of your responsibilities as a quantity surveyor tend to necessitate you operate in a team. Let me say that again. A lot of people must understand that when you get into any type of construction or project management, trades, the majority of your responsibilities, of the responsibilities of a quantity surveyor, tend to necessitate you to operate in a team environment, either with colleagues from various departments or with outside professionals. Teamwork skills are essential, and they're essential so you can become well equipped to collaborate with the team and function well as a unit. This is essential for project completion since it ensures that objectives are met on schedule and with high quality. Deal with QA and QC. And also, attention to detail. And I said this during my inspection videos, but as a quantity surveyor, you regularly work on complex projects. As a quantity surveyor, you regularly work on complex projects that involve many legal, contractual, financial, and operational aspects. So as a result, paying great attention to every detail is vital to the project's overall success, because tiny details can have a significant influence on the entire project. So it's vital that a quantity surveyor pay close attention to them. So apart from maintaining the company's brand and reputation, ensuring your work is error-free can prevent serious consequences in terms of profitability. And we get to the supply chain side. And you must understand the working environment of supply chain managers. So as a quantity surveyor, your goal is to reduce costs and risk of a building project while maintaining the needed legal requirements and quantity. This involves ensuring that all statutory construction rules are followed. Again, this involves ensuring that all statutory construction rules are followed. You may produce work estimates and prices, and you may be required to keep track of any contract modifications that may influence the project while it is in progress. So, throughout all stages of the project, you can expect to work directly for the client, the contractor, in an office or at a work site. Now, when you spend your work hours in the office, you can expect to work on spreadsheets and other software to prepare budgets, forecast cost and pricing, evaluation of performance levels, assessing construction progress, and the monitoring of profits and loss. So alternatively, when you're out of the office, you can become a liaison or liaison with clients to advise them on any commercial issues. So when you're out of office, you're going to be the liaison between your clients. So you're going to have to advise them on any commercial issues. You're going to meet suppliers and vendors to assess and negotiate material prices, coordinate construction activities on site, and monitor situations at distribution centers. So during times of disturbance or when the construction process incurs serious obstacle, you're going to have to work some overtime. So with all that being said, how much do you earn as a quantity surveyor? Well, quantity surveyors earn an average base salary right around $49,000 per year. Now, be mindful that this salary figure for quantity surveying can vary greatly depending on your industry, employer type, and size, as well as your qualifications, level of expertise, and specific job duties and responsibilities. So your salary can also differ throughout your career based on your professional experience and chartered status. So on top of your salary, there may be some non-monetary benefits such as health insurance, pension funds, paid leave, and other allowances. And just remember, salary figures reflect data listed on Indeed salaries at the time of writing. So salaries may vary depending on the hiring organization and, again, a candidate's experience. So basically, when we deal with becoming a quantity surveyor, there are a few in industries that you must be mindful of. Yes, I focused everything on the construction industry. So basically, you're going to be a cost or value engineer. You could be a cost estimator. You're going to be involved in project management. So you must have flexibility. You must know information technology, business skills, in project manager. So within this field, you're going to be part legal, you're going to be part construction, engineer, and architect. But overall, your job is to make sure that you are part of the team that is going to meet the deadlines of the project and under budget. You're going to have to be a good problem solver because there are going to be problems that arise on every construction job. So you need to know how to do change orders. You need to know how to utilize customer service and communication. Now, here in America, we don't use the term quantity surveyor too much. We basically call them cost estimators. Now, what I like about cost estimation is you're actually taking the plans and you're building the project by estimating the cost. And when you are building a project, you're using certain equations on the plan. So you need to understand plans reading. Now, let me give you an example. When you're on a construction project, particularly if it's a unit cost project, let's just use unit cost. You're going to use units like each, When it comes to rebar, you're going to use units of pounds. When it comes to laying out curb and gutter on a project, you're going to use units like linear feet. When it comes to concrete, cubic yards. When it comes to area, I may have to lay out area of some geogrid or some stone. Stone usually comes in tonnage, asphalt comes in tonnage. But when you have any type of area, let's say you're laying down a concrete slab, what is the area of the concrete slab? Well, of course, you're going to pay for the cubic yards of concrete, but how much of an area did that concrete cover? So we deal with square yards. Also, you're going to have some, not just quantities you have to deal with. What about quality? Because one thing you need to understand with this type of position, since you wear many hats, you also need to know how to inspect a project. So you need to understand codes, plans, and specifications. Now, on a building job, when it comes to specifications, they use what we know as Concrete Specification Institute specs, CSI. Now, it used to be that the CSI specs covered only 8 divisions. Now they cover 50 divisions. So you need to understand that. And when you deal with building codes, you need to know what year the building codes you're using. You need to know it because building codes change every 3 years. So you need to know what the project is going to call for, and that comes within the specifications. And you need to know what year the specifications. See, there's a difference between uh, specifications and provisions. Yes, there's special provisions. They may tell you within the project you can work certain days, you have certain days off. But when it comes to standards, your standards are for the whole jurisdiction. Specifications are project specifics. That means you take standards that are going to be specific to the project, and those are your specifications. And you also, as a quantity surveyor, need to understand how to use spreadsheets, computers. You need writing. So you're going to be communicating back and forth. Again, you're going to be dealing with vendors, contractors, engineers, architects. You have a vital role, and it could become stressing. But if you understand the construction aspect, because you need to know a lot about construction for this type of field. Now, what's the education level? I suggest that you have a degree in engineering or engineering technology that relates to construction. It could be civil engineering, architectural engineering, civil engineering technology, architectural engineering technology. It could be you could utilize mechanical engineering, construction science, construction management, architecture, those types of fields. But being a quantity surveyor, unlike a land surveyor, you don't need a license. So basically, what I just presented to you was information on becoming a quantity surveyor. And again, quantity surveyor is one who wears many hats for a project. Now, here again in the US, we call them cost estimators. But however we interchange the titles, they're all the same. The bottom line, when it comes to construction projects, we want to make sure they're completed on time and under budget. Thank you for taking the time to view and listen to this information on what is a quantity surveyor. If you like what I just presented, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're looking for some political and social content, right now I'm doing a scam series on my main channel, the 411 Talk Zone radio show. Now, after I record my videos from YouTube, also find information from the QCIS channel and the 411 Talk Zone radio show on my Twitter page. Now, since the QCIS channel is an educational channel, you can also find QCIS information on my LinkedIn page. Once again, thank you for viewing this content on what is a quantity surveyor from the QCIS channel. Where on this channel, you get a daily dose, science, technology, engineering, and math. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. I want you all to have a wonderful, gracious evening.